guys, today I want to talk about the 12 books I want to read in the 12 months of 2018. If you've seen my recent videos about book series I want to read in 2018 and my New Year's resolutions in terms of books and goals that I have, you'll know that I really like setting myself reading goals, and it just helps me focus on my priorities. And I'm generally quite good at sticking to them because I make a list on my phone and I kind of constantly refer to it. So yeah, I thought I would set myself the mini challenge of reading 12 specific books this year. Not necessarily one a month. I could read 6 in one month and then none in other months, but these are just 12 books which I've been telling myself I want to get to for a really long time, and I just want to prioritise them this year because they're books I wanted to read for ages and I just keep forgetting about the fact I want to read them. So making this video will help me remember the fact that I want to read them and just put it in my mind, and coming up with this list will hopefully help me get through them. The first one I mentioned in my January TBR, and that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Really want to get to this one ASAP because the movie's coming out soon and I keep trying to avoid trailers in the cinema and cover my eyes because I don't really want to know anything about it. I just know it's about virtual reality world that people escape to in some sort of dystopian future, and the fact it has lots of 80s pop culture references that everyone loves, and because I'm really into video games at the minute I feel like I will appreciate those as much as possible. And yeah, I've just got a new hype for this, so I want to get to this hopefully this month, but if not then next month. The next one is Radio Silence by Oseman because I'm pretty sure I got this one for Christmas 2016. The one between 2016 and 2017, and I was really excited. I really wanted to read it, and then I had it for a whole year, never even thought of picking it up. But I do appreciate a good contemporary. I kind of worry that I don't like contemporary anymore, but when I read a good one I really love them, and I've heard such good things about this. I'm pretty sure it's got ace representation, as well as just the fact it's set in a UK college is really interesting because you always get high school and stuff in America and not people doing A-levels and things like I did. So hopefully I'll really enjoy this. I'm not sure when I'll get to it, but I want to read it this year. The next one is one of the only ones I'm really going to mention that's part of a series, because obviously I did a whole video about book series that I want to read in 2018, or at least start. So obviously all of those could be on this list, but I feel like these are more specific high priority things over the top of those series, if that makes sense. But the one I am going to mention is A Knife I'm Never Letting Go by Ness, for the same reason of the fact that a film is coming out this year, and if I see the film I'm never going to read the book, and I've had this entire trilogy on my shelves for probably at least 3 or 4 years now. I think I've been put off by how big they are, but I am getting a lot better with big books, and I just want to try this first book. If I don't like it then I can just unhaul the whole series and be done with it and see the films or not, but it's just silly to have them on my shelves for so many years and never even tried to read them. The next one is a huge priority on my list of books to read this year because I should have read it last year when it was hyped and I didn't because I think the hype scared me, but that is The Hate You Give by Angie. I'm pretty sure you all know what this is about. It's about the Black Lives Matter movement in America and a black girl who sees her black friend, I think, get killed by the police or shot or beat up or something like that. Everyone says it's amazing. It seems to have loads of elements that I really like diversity and family dynamics and that sort of thing. Amy really loved it in 2017, so I just need to read it. I don't know why I haven't, and it's signed, which is awesome. I'm really glad that I got a signed copy because then if it is a new favourite book then I have a signed version. But yes, this needs to happen. Another book that I've had on my shelves for a really long time that I'm pretty sure I'll love, that I've never decided to pick up, is The First 15 Lives of Harriet August by Clare. I've had this for I think around 3 years. Whenever Peru's Project Reagan talked about it a lot and really hyped it up, I got it straight away, and it just seems really interesting. It seems like my kind of book because I'm pretty sure it's this guy that he dies and then he just wakes up and almost restarts his life, or he wakes up in a new body but he's the same person mentally or something like that. So it seems like almost time travel story, kind of quirky elements that I really like. It kind of made me thinking of How to Stop Time in terms of someone who lives their new life and talks to people in their past and whatever. But yeah, I just want to get around to this because I just feel like I'll love it, and I also have her other book, The Sudden Appearance of Hope or something, but I want to read this one first because I've had this one so long. Another book I've had on my shelves for a lot of years that I'm still excited for but I've never gotten around to is Seraphina by Hartman. I just think this is the most beautiful cover in the world. But I love dragons and fantasy worlds, and I bought this at a time when there was like no dragons in any books, so it felt really, really unique, and you are getting more dragon books now, but this just sounds really interesting. It likes dragons and music, and I think people can turn into dragons, or I don't really know. I think I started like the first 5 pages of this and was really confused and just never went back to it. But it's only a duology as far as I know, so I can definitely just kind of like, it's like a low maintenance fantasy series, and I just feel like I'll like it. And if I don't, then at least I'll know that I don't like it and it's not just sat on my shelves for years gathering dust. Another one I've had on my shelves for a long time that I'm still hyped for is 172 Hours on the Moon by Johan Hartstad. Again, I must have had this 4 or 5 years, which feels mental, but I know that I bought this before university because I remember lending it to Robin and Amy when we went on holiday, and that was before university happened. So I must have had this at least 3 or 4 years, which is crazy. But I just know this is like a sort of thriller set on the moon. I think there's like a competition to win the chance to go to the moon. And apparently it's just kind of scary, and I always go to pick this up for like holidays. Every holiday TBR I'm like, maybe I should read the Moon book, because it seems like the right sort of book for a holiday in terms of being fast paced and exciting. And I just haven't read it, and I need to. My camera just died, so sorry if the angle and whatever is a little bit different now. I had to change the battery. But anyway, I was talking about the fact I want to read Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra, Clare and a few other people, because I really want to read this before Lady Midnight, because apparently Lady Midnight spoils things in this. So I'm like, if I don't definitely read this year, I won't be reading this or Lady Midnight or anything until like at least 2019, which feels silly, especially as I'm kind of still in love with these characters, and I feel like I'm going to get less motivated to read it as time goes on. I think I'm not super excited to read this because it is short stories and not all of them are written by Cassandra Clare, but also it seems like the kind of thing I can just dip in and out of really easily, just kind of read a story every now and again. And I think this will get me really hyped for Lady Midnight, so I definitely want to read it some point soon. I just don't know why I've been putting it off. The next few books are some hardback books, which I've got in hardback because I was so excited to read them, which is why I definitely want to get around to them this year, because it's like, why did I even bother buying them in hardback if I wasn't going to read them straight away? It seems silly. The first one is Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy. I love this cover so much, and my friend Leah from Drums of Autumn has talked about this book a lot. It was like one of her absolute favourite books of 2017, and it has a lot of elements I find really interesting, like sexuality and family dynamics and kind of class and money issues and things like that you don't normally read about, so it just seems really unique. And yeah, I just think I'm going to really like it, so I just want to get around to this. This is probably one that's going to happen sooner rather than later, because I can see myself picking it up in February. The next one is The Chimes by Smaill, which again I've had for years and I was so hyped to read, and it sounds so interesting, the cover's so pretty. And I don't know why I never read this book. It's getting silly. It's like the new Name of the Wind, even though I haven't read Name of the Wind either. But it's like the new Name of the Wind in that I keep talking about it and just not reading it. And this is some sort of like dystopian future book where music is really important and people like can't hold their memories, and someone starts to remember something through like a melody and they're following it. So it seems really, really interesting. It was nominated for the Man Booker Prize in 2015, which I think is when I got it. So that's like 3 years. And yeah, I just need to read this because it's getting silly. The next one is probably one of the books I bought the most recently on this list, but I want to read it while it's still kind of hyped up and I'm still thinking about it a lot, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Again, I think I'm put off by the fact it's a mammoth of a book. Like, it's literally, well, it's actually only 500 pages, but it's just, it feels huge. And so many people have talked about it. I'm sure you know what it's about. But all I know is it's some guy called Laszlo Strange who's like a librarian, and he researches this world called Weep or something, and then he gets to go visit Weep. It sounds so weird, but the cover was beautiful and the reviews were just like ridiculously positive. So I was like, I saw it on offer in Waterstones and I was like, I want to get this in all its beauty because I think I'm going to really enjoy it. And the final book on this list is another beautiful fantasy book that I've had in hardback for a little while now, and that is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This book I've always thought sounds really, really interesting. I think I got about 50 pages in once, but I was in a reading slump at university. Oh, I just found a bookmark. I got 6 pages into it, so not very far at all actually. This is about like a town that's protected by like a magician in a tower, and he takes a girl every few years. as like a sacrifice. Don't really know what he does with them, but I think he turns out to be like an okay guy. There's actually a bigger evil going on in the world. This really appeals to me because it's got like, it just sounds like a really interesting story, but also it's a standalone, and you barely ever get any fantasy standalones, so I just really want to read this, and I don't know why I haven't yet. Probably because it's big, but I'm trying to get better at reading bigger books this year, so hopefully the size won't intimidate me as much as it has in the past. I'm not going to hold them all up because there's quite a lot of books down there, but these are some of the books I want to get round to in 2018. Let me know down below if you read any of them and recommend getting to them sooner rather than later, and also feel free to just like nudge me about these books in the year. Like if I mention them on a TBR and then never read them, just be like, Laura, what are you doing? You promised us you were going to read these 12 books. So let me know down below if you have any specific book goals for 2018, like specific reads you have in mind where you're like, okay, this is getting silly, I've just got to get around to these now. I'd love to know, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.